Yo, what is up guys, Delboy here, aka Blue Collar Sports TV. Hopefully you guys are doing well. If you're new here, smash that like, hit subscribe, all of that good stuff. So, one of the big news stories in British boxing in the last couple of weeks or so has been talks of a potential fight with Dalton Smith and Adam Azim. Adam Azim was the European champion at super lightweight, unbeaten, 11-0, talented guy, very athletic, etc. Whereas Dalton Smith is a British and Commonwealth champion, and he's 16-0 with 12 knockouts. Both guys have shown good power, both guys have shown potential in their careers, and potential to go further than domestic level. And I'll say this, I mean, you could have this fight, the loser can still go on to have a great career. Whoever wins or loses, the loser can still go on to have a great career if they're good enough. Much like George Groves versus James DeGale all those years ago. James DeGale lost, but he still went on to be a world champion. I don't know why people act like it's too soon for these sort of fights. I've seen so many people, not even so many people, because most people are in agreement, but some people out there doing damage control for Adam Azim, saying he's only 21 years old, he's not ready for such a fight. If you're not ready for such a fight, why fight for a European title in the first place? A level in which the competition can be strong. And, you know, as European champion, Dalton Smith was Adam Azim's mandatory. And we've heard the news today that Adam Azim has vacated that European title to fight Harlem Eubank. Harlem Eubank is 30 years old, record of 19-0. He is the nephew, I believe, of Chris Eubank Sr. But yeah, he's got a record of 19-0. He's unbeaten, but I've never really seen anything special in Harlem Eubank. And I'm not even saying Adam Azim and Dalton Smith are special, but they've shown levels that are superior to Harlem Eubank. I've seen a fair bit of Harlem Eubank in his career. Particularly when he's been fighting on Channel 5. I recall him struggling against a guy called Elliot Chavez. You know, he was getting some work in that fight, but Elliot Chavez ended up getting disqualified. I recall early in his career, he fought on a Matchroom card and got a gift decision in Monaco as well. This was very early on, to be fair, but throughout his career, he's never really impressed me. You look at his resume, I mean, he's beaten a 40-year-old Sean Dodd by knockout. Aside from that, man, it's really slim pickings, and for me, he's never really impressed, quite frankly. And, you know, for Adam Azim to then take this fight, to me, is super disappointing. If you're not going to fight Dalton Smith, I could understand it. If he vacated the European title and fought like a legitimate top 10 guy at super lightweight, I would get it. I wouldn't even moan, you know. If Adam Azim went in there and fought a top 10 guy, maybe a former champion like Jose Ramirez or Regis Prograis, if he fought a guy like that, I wouldn't have an issue with Adam Azim vacating the title and doing something different. I wouldn't have an issue. But when you're fighting a guy like Harlem Eubank, one can't help but be very disappointed. Once again, the business gets in the way of boxing. Ben Shalom has shown a reluctance to work with Matchroom for whatever reason. There seems to be a beef going on there. There's been a lot of back and forths in recent months surrounding that, and you know, it's resulted in certain fights not happening. Richard Riakporhe versus Jay Opataya is one. Riakporhe could have had a world title fight a while ago, several months ago, and against the most credible cruiserweight champion, but Ben Shalom pulled him out. We could have had Fabio Wardley versus Fraser Clark earlier. Thank God it happened, because it turned out to be a great fight, but we nearly missed it. We nearly missed it. He doesn't seem willing to make Isaac Chamberlain versus Chev Clark at cruiserweight. Chamberlain is the British cruiserweight champion. Chev Clark is his mandatory. Doesn't seem willing to make that fight happen. Now we see Adam Azim vacate his European title to then fight Harlem Eubank. And it's weird as boxing fans how issues like this divide fans, because boxing fans always have this knack of trying to trying to be on the side of a certain promoter even when it makes no sense. And they'll either do that because they fanboy for a certain promoter or they dislike the other promoter. And once again, we see that here. So many people making excuses for Ben Bundy Shalom. I mean, he's the guy, and his promotional company are the individuals who are pulling these fighters out of certain fights. That's how it appears. That's how it appears from the outside looking in. So for me, Ben Shalom, boxer, are preventing these fights from happening. Therefore, they are the problem. It's not exactly rocket science. But people like to play sides in issues like this just because, it appeals to their kind of schoolyard brain, or feminine brain, I will say. They like to just play sides and, get involved in mudslinging. That's what gets them going. But the reality is, it seems that Boxer and Ben Shalom are to blame for these fights not happening as of right now. And again, you look at Ben Shalom and I see what he's doing on Sky Sports. Yeah, we had a good fight this past weekend, great. But those sort of nights are way too rare. Way too rare. Most shows on Sky Sports are absolute dross. Absolute dross. And Ben Shalom, this wet lettuce, is the guy producing it, so why can't I complain? Why can't I complain about him stopping certain fights from happening? Absolute weirdo, this guy. Absolute weirdo. His energy reflects his shows, for the most part. Dull, uninspiring, bleak, boring, awful. How he got in this position, I will never know. Or having said that, I suggest you watch the face-offs for Joshua Boatsi versus Dan Aziz, and I believe Chris Congo versus Florian Marku. The face-to-faces they did, like the joint interviews. Look at where those interviews were held. It looked like a Masonic lodge. Which is interesting, because I've got no fucking idea how Ben Shalom has this gig. I really don't. I've got no idea whatsoever. No idea whatsoever how this guy has that gig. It honestly amazes me how there are some people cucking for this guy. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Maybe that's what they want. Maybe that product is what they want. Again, maybe it appeals to them. Dull, tick box fights with women, female fighters who nobody cares for. Hence why there's nobody in the arena. NPC fucking analysts. Just this dystopian kind of production. Just soulless. Absolutely soulless. Boxing on Sky Sports reflects Ben Shalom. Nothing there, man. Nothing there. It's just garbage. And like I said, how the guy got in this position, I will never know. I'm convinced there is something more to this than meets the eye. How he got here, I don't think it was authentic at all. At all. And again, some of the backdrops for these face-offs it's interesting to say the least. Coincidence? I don't know, but these people operate in media, high-level society, police, etc. It's well known in England. And obviously nepotism runs rife in that sort of movement or quasi-organisation. It runs deep, so listen, what do I know? What do I know? But yeah, having a face-off in a Masonic lodge, certainly an interesting production choice. What do I know though? Share your thoughts below. Another fight we're not getting. Peace out.